If you enjoy this video, I hope you will hit the like button while you're still in my YouTube channel. Also, feel free to post a comment. I'd love to see them. Lastly, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, I hope you'll consider doing so. Now, on to the cooking. Today, I'm going to show you my version of a Dover sole Meunière. And believe it or not, it's super easy and will take you maybe 5 minutes from refrigerator to table. So when I go to a restaurant, I find that it's one of those dishes that if they actually are serving it, I typically will order it. It's so delicious. It has lemon butter, and typically it is made with flour, so it's a breaded type of fish. I wanted to figure out if I could do it without the flour, but still keep all the flavor. And it turned out to be easier than I thought, and only required a couple of ingredients. So stick around and I'm gonna show you my version. I hope you enjoy it. So let's start first with preparing the fish. We're gonna take this beautiful Dover sole, and this is about 6/10 of a pound. It's basically one serving of fish. And I'm gonna be combining that with this almond flour. And you can see here what that looks like. I've put about 1/4 cup into a plate, but basically I'm usually not that specific about it. I just sort of dump some into a plate because the idea is just enough to coat the fish. So you may adjust a little bit based upon the size of your fish. If you're not familiar with almond flour, it's basically blanched ground almonds, and you buy it in a bag just as you could for regular flour. Now, I will tell you that almond flour can be a great substitute if you have someone who is gluten-free. Obviously, it is not great if you have somebody with a nut allergy because it is made of nuts. So you can decide what is right for you and your family. In this case, we're going to be making it with the almond flour. Unless you know how to fillet a fish, I recommend you buying it already filleted like I did. Now this is going to be really simple. All you're going to do is take your fish, which when you take it right out of the package is going to be kind of wet and I don't want to say slimy, but basically it's already going to be fairly oily. And I find that when it comes, it typically is sort of doubled over. So you have to actually realize sometimes that see here how they've actually sort of split it already. So since it's been filleted, you want to split it open. And it comes out to be sort of 2 pieces. So first off, we're just going to put it in the almond flour. Put one down there so you can see what I'm doing. Just lay one on the almond flour. You want to coat it and then coat the next one. And you don't need to be fancy, just kind of scoop up sometimes some of this almond flour, and you want to make sure it's nice and coated. Now, I find this is different than when I'm making something like chicken, where I normally would use egg or something else to bind what I'm, the coating to the protein. But in this case, I find the fish is so oily that it actually holds on to the nuts very well. So this is really all you need to do is just put almond flour onto a plate and put the fish into it, and look how nicely that's coming out already looking breaded. So I'm going to do that with both pieces. So as I said from the start, cooking this fish is actually really fast. I've already prepared a lemon butter sauce to go on the side because this is going to be so fast that I didn't want to make it after. To make the lemon butter sauce, take about 4 tablespoons of butter, melt it down on a low to medium heat, and after about 2 to 3 minutes, add the juice of half a lemon. What we're going to do now is we put a little bit of butter into the pan. I don't make the whole sauce in here. I've actually tried first doing it with like a lot of butter, and what I found is it just kind of soaked into the fish. I feel like it's better to separate it. So just do a little bit of butter. Then what I do is I take my piece of fish and I put it down in the hot pan with butter. Take our second piece of fish and we'll put it in the hot pan with butter. Kind of separate them, try not to burn ourselves here. Okay. So because this cooks so fast, I actually set the timer. Otherwise, sometimes I'll forget that it's been 2 minutes already. So we're going to set that timer for 2 minutes. And in 2 minutes, we're actually going to flip it over. So what do we do during our 2 minutes? Well, it's time now for the lemon. So we're going to take fresh lemon. I've already cut it in half, and we're going to squeeze it over the fish. Now you want to be careful not to end up with no coating. So I just give it a nice squeeze. You get that nice fresh lemon scent. And I just let it cook into the butter until the timer goes. So now we're just about at 2 minutes. We're going to hear our timer in a moment. There we go. That's our 2 minutes, so we can turn off the clock. And next up, we're going to flip the fish. So just put your spatula under it. Make sure you get a good hold on it and flip the fish. Next up, second piece. Underneath, flip your fish. You can see it's already starting to cook. And what we're now going to do is squeeze more lemon juice on it. So with 2 minutes on the clock, we have squeezed some lemon juice. And be careful, of course, sometimes the seeds pop out. If so, take them out of there. But next up, we're going to grate some fresh rind right over the fish. So just grate it right over. Remember, you're doing all of this in 2 minutes for each side. So if you think you're going to have trouble doing everything in 2 minutes, then you can actually do things like, grate the rind first and have it all ready to toss on. I feel like the first couple times I did this, I was a little nervous that I wouldn't beat the clock. So I had it all prepared, but now I've done this so much that I can just kind of do it on the fly. Give it a nice grate. You can see we have 10 more seconds. Okay. There's the timer. Let's see how the fish is looking. Flip that over again. Ooh, now it looks really cooked. This is now, you can see one side of the first side and one with the second side flipped already. So now we're going to flip the second one. Take that off the stove. How beautiful they look. Take the fish quickly off the stove. Add the lemon butter sauce if you'd like. And enjoy. I serve this dish with brown rice and a vegetable on the side. For the brown rice, I usually keep it simple, and I go with one of those bags that you can put in the microwave, and it's done in about 90 seconds. If you do it just before you cook the fish, it'll be just perfect when you are done with the fish. In terms of the vegetable, you can pick anything you like. I've done green beans, I've done a medley, I even have a ratatouille that I love that I'll be demoing live in a couple of weeks that I've also served on the side with it. However you choose to enjoy your fish, I hope you enjoy it in good health.